Hey everybody, it is lividfray. Hope you guys are all doing very well today, and welcome back to another episode of Just the Good Stuff, where I show you only the good stuff from the vendor restocks each week. Starting off right here inside the terminal as we usually do, this vendor is selling an M700 carbon with toxic, destructive, and elevated. There's a couple different things that you can do here. You can either keep toxic and roll off elevated for something different, or you can change toxic to something like disciplined, deadly, brutal, whatever you're looking for here. This works very, very well with Hunter's Faith as well as Sentry's Call. The next item I'm recommending is over inside the base of operations at the gear vendor. This vendor is selling a firearms mod 207 with 3% damage to elites. I'm currently working on a mod breakdown video for you guys where I can talk more about the mods, but I always recommend damage to elite mods no matter what number it is, what the percentage is. These ones just make way too big of a difference on PvE builds. Make sure you buy these if you don't have them. Our next stop is going to be over at the Dark Zone vendor here inside the base of operations. They are selling an SR7 suppressor, 19% critical hit damage, 2.5% critical hit chance, and 6% headshot damage, as well as the reduced threat as always. This one's half percentage off of the maximum critical hit chance, but we don't get rules like this very often. Make sure you grab these if you don't have them. Finally, we are heading over to the advanced weaponry vendor. This vendor does have an X45 for sale. Expert with cool-headed. Cool-headed is excellent. Keep it. Roll it onto your sentry shield builds. Roll off expert for something along the lines of determined, toxic, or brutal. Our next stop's going to be over at Camp Clinton. This vendor is selling a Cassidy with responsive and talented. Just roll off talented for something else like accurate, unforgiving, whatever you really want to do there. Responsive is pretty strong for this weapon. I would recommend using the Cassidy with Lone Star. It's definitely a lot of fun. The next weapon that this vendor is selling that I am recommending is actually this classic AK-47 with Deadly, Intense, and Adept. This could actually work out well with Predator's Mark. With Adept being on the bottom, you're able to utilize a skill to achieve a higher critical hit chance threshold. So you can change Intense over to Vicious instead and keep Deadly, is what I would recommend. This would work fairly well, I think, with a Predator's Mark build. It's just that you will have to utilize a skill in order to use Adept. Our next stop is going to be over at the Meat Locker. This vendor is selling a extended magazine with 120% mag size with 2.5 critical hit chance and 4.8 rate of fire. I did have a discussion with Op regarding extended magazines, so I wanted to talk about it briefly. There's quite a few extended magazines for sale this week. For example, there are 6 for sale, ranging from 113% mag size to 120. Now, of course, we are recommending the 120 mag size. It's a high magazine size. Usually anything above 120 is what I recommend. But he did raise a good point where the minor attributes on this magazine is actually not the greatest. So you could consider purchasing the extended magazines there's one at the terminal, there's one at the base of operations weaponry vendor, there's some in Dark Zone East, as well as the safe rooms in the Dark Zone. So these magazines, they have a lower magazine size overall, but their actual minor attributes are a lot better than this one's. A good example being reload speed on some of them, critical hit chance and damage rolls on some of them are maxed out. So you could consider going with a lower magazine size and missing out on a bullet or two. And in return, you're receiving, 5%, almost 5% reload speed, maximum critical hit chance and damage options on that magazine. So it's truly up to you. You can go check out the terminal, the advanced weaponry vendor in the base, as well as Dark Zone East 61st, Dark Zone 05 Safe Room, and inside Camp Clinton. There are some different magazine options for mag size if you don't really have any good extended magazines available. Our next safe room is going to be Madison stand. This vendor is selling a 6% first aid self-heal mod. I always recommend these. I personally don't use them very often anymore, but they do work out pretty well when you're wanting to do some solo Dark Zone stuff and you're using the heal. So make sure to pick this up if you don't have them. Just remember that this applies to the actual self-heal skills, such as the defib, booster, and overdose. It doesn't apply to, med kits or anything like that. We're going to head up to DZ04. This vendor is selling a stamina mod, 264, 3% skill haste. You can use these on defense builds when you're trying to reach your stamina threshold, as well as utilizing skill haste on the build instead of EDR. This will work very, very well. Next, we're heading down to East 40th Street. This vendor is selling a police M4 with responsive, destructive, and competent. It's unfortunate that it is a police M4. That handling is pretty bad, but the talents on this are kind of nuts. You can roll off destructive for a different PvP talent, or you could keep all of them the way they are. It's really up to you. Our next stop is going to be the DZ03 Saferoom. This vendor is selling a black market AK with destructive, predatory, and accurate. I would roll off accurate for something like maybe brutal, vicious, deadly, whatever you can think of to put here that would work best for your build. this would work very, very well with Predator's Mark as well. That's going to be everything for this week's Just the Good Stuff. Hopefully there's some items that you guys will be picking up this week. I definitely bought a couple things on my other account. I feel like this one was definitely a quality over quantity. We didn't have too much for sale this week that I would recommend, but the stuff that we did have for sale was actually really good. So hopefully there's something for you in this reset. But that's going to be everything that I have for you. I will talk to you guys in the next video. Have a great rest of your day.